Hello and welcome. And in this video, I'm talking about how to 5 times the value of your coaching offer and convert more prospects into clients. And I'm going to do this relatively quickly because it's a topic that I've been speaking about throughout this week with the things that I've been publishing, both articles, did previous live streams, and some of the posts that we've been putting out across Facebook, LinkedIn, and a few other places on social media. Now, when it comes to selling, obviously your offer is one of the biggest components of getting people to buy from you. And one of the biggest challenges that I see, especially with coaches and consultants, is that they fall into the trap of either underpricing themselves or sticking to an hourly rate, meaning, some of the coaches I speak to, weekly are pricing themselves at like $50 an hour, $100, $150, $200. And the problem you have with this is that you're trading time for money. And so in the mind of your potential prospects and clients is that they're totting up the hours of what it's going to cost to work with you, right? And so how many hours can I book in, or how many hours can I scrape by to get the outcome that you're potentially going to help them to achieve? And one of the things that you can do to shift yourself out of pricing per hour is to understand the value that you bring. And for coaches, a lot of the time they look at the intrinsic trading time for money perspective rather than what's the value of the outcome that you're going to help your clients achieve and what's that worth to them, right? Which is different to what's the hour worth to you, right? We focus on the results and the promise. And when you do that, you create a big shift in how you can price yourself and the way that you charge. And there are different factors that you could argue that determine the success of how you can charge, like the marketplace, like the affordability of the market right now. But here's the thing. One of the things that I look at when it comes to putting your offers together is who are you marketing to? Now, when I say that, I say in the sense of if you're marketing an offer to people who can't afford to pay you, then obviously that's going to be a problem, right? Whereas what you actually want to do is market to an audience or a niche specifically that can afford to pay you. And I'm going to share with you 4 simple questions that you can think about when it comes to your niche, right? And then I'm going to drop into a couple of things and we're going to wrap this up. So when I'm thinking about a niche and like getting super focused, you hear it all the time, like one niche or one avatar, one channel, one offer, right? And the reason for that is if you're under $1 million or £1 million, you need the focus and clarity of simplicity in order to scale. Whereas if you've got too much complexity with multiple offers, multiple niches, multiple channels, like before you know it, your energy and your ability and resources are diluted before you've even got out the gate. And this is a problem. So the way that you can tackle that is by looking at the niche that I'm targeting. Is the niche actually in pain, and do they want it fixed, right? Because there's a difference with people who are in pain and they're accepting it, as opposed to the kind of person who's in pain and they're seeking a solution, or they're actually aware that they need a solution, right? The next question you need to ask yourself around your niche is, do you like working with this niche, right? And that's another factor. Do you just want to work with anybody and accept anybody? Or actually, do you want to work with people who align with you, your culture, your values, and so on and so forth? Do you like them? The third question you need to ask yourself is help. Can you actually help the niche to get the outcome or the promise that you're providing, right? And it's a really important question to ask yourself, especially if you're still kind of fresh in the game, 2 to 3 year old coaching business, right? You're probably still figuring some things out. If you've been in the game like 3 to 5 years, and some of you might just be really, fast at getting going, early bird startup businesses, and you just hit the market running. But you really want to think about who you can help, and if what you're offering does actually get the outcome. Whereas if you're a newly qualified coach or consultant, you may be going off the back of your accreditations, certifications, and still trying to figure things out and whether or not you can actually do what you say. The final question you want to ask yourself of these 4 simple questions is pay. Can this niche afford to pay you? Like, do they actually have the buying power, right? And this is interesting, actually. I was having a conversation with a lady yesterday in Australia, and she was explaining to me that the kind of people she's come across are people who barely can scrape 2 pennies together, to other people who've flown out to different parts of the world and wanted her to literally work on a weekly and a monthly basis with them or with a member of their family for the type of services that she provided, where money was not a problem, right? It was more of a luxury market. And these are the questions. When you answer these questions, this is what can help to 5x your value, because now you can start focusing on, well, when it comes to your offer, what is it that you really need to like piece together? And here are the things that I want to dive into. These are the kind of micro elements of what value is, right? And in my opinion, value is a perceived or a perception of what the outcome is going to be worth to the end user, the buyer, right? To your potential client who's going to be your prospect at this stage. So here's some things to think about. What you want to look at is a clearly defined promise or an outcome. And the way that I approach this, I use 5 questions to understand what the outcome is going to be for an offer, right? And this way you can get super clear. Now, we've been speaking about niche with those 4 simple questions I just gave you. And these 5 questions actually kind of, they overlap with niche. And it's so important because a lot of the times people think they've got a niche, they've got an avatar, and then that's it. They've done the work. They don't think about it anymore. They just go on and create something they just want to sell. Well, here are the 5 questions to start with in terms of the promise or the perceived value that you offer, right? The first question is, who will change? Meaning the people that you are training, coaching, helping, mentoring, whatever it is, right? Or consulting for. That's question 1. Number 2, what will change? I.e. the knowledge, the attitudes, and the skills you expect to change. Number 3, by how much? How much change do you think realistically you can achieve or they can achieve? And number 4, by when? What's the time frame? The time frame within that the change is going to happen, right? And this is an important one, time. And then number 5, how the change will be measured, surveys, tests, interviews, or methods, or whatever method you're going to use to test. And the reason for this is you're looking at the perceived likelihood of achievement, of attaining the promise that you're offering with your coaching or consulting. So that's the first step. It's to clearly define what your promise is. And a lot of people make these wild claims and they have no clues as to what the realistic perception is or likelihood of achievement is. But there's 3 other things that you've got to piece together, right? What's the time required, meaning the time commitment that they've got to put in daily or weekly? And what's the overall time that they can expect it to happen in, meaning months or years, right? It could be a week, if you're working with them intensely, or over a week's period for a small offer or even a bigger offer, then you're going to be thinking months and years. Number 3 is effort. What will they have to do, right? What will they have to put in and do while they're, either experiencing the offer or the coaching or the thing that you're selling? And then number 4, sacrifice. What will they have to drop in order to make it happen? Could be habits, could be different, things that they're doing, or ideas or concepts. Now, here's the thing, right? And this is where we wrap up, guys. When you piece all of these together, you're going to come up with value. And when you come up with value and you understand the outcomes, you understand the plays in terms of sacrifice and what they're going to gain and how much they've got to put in, this is where you increase your value and move away from either undercharging, because now you understand what the perception is and what you're going to do in terms of the transformation for your clients. And the cool thing about this is that your prospects will see that in your offer, and that's why they'll pay you. And the more value you can inject means that the more that you can charge, and the more realistic the price that you're charging is something that your prospects will see as value for money rather than that's too expensive, right? So you take all of that, guys, and if you wrap that into your offers, honestly, you're going to be able to sell at a much higher price with less resistance. If you'd like this all wrapped up with step-by-step approach on how to do this, remember, you can get access to my NBI offer worksheet, which I'm giving away for free. It's a PDF with a walkthrough video. Just comment below this video with the words NBI offer, and I'll send it to you for free. On that note, guys, I hope you enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you very much for watching. Take care. Bye-bye.